Right now, we're going to send it down to Brendan Parker and Cory Sarich for tonight's Flames TV postgame show, presented by Original 16.
Welcome to our Flames post-game live. It's brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. Not a lot of home games for the Calgary Flames in this stretch, just the second in the past 3 weeks, but they've taken advantage of both of them. It was LA almost 2 weeks ago on home ice, and now tonight a win over the Buffalo Sabres, and they do so with some much-needed offense. They end up putting up 5 goals for the fifth time this season, 5 goals or more. So Dustin Wolf talked a little bit yesterday about hoping to see a little bit more of that run support. He gets it today, and he was also sensational in the win as well, making 30-plus saves again here tonight. But let's start with a game that maybe Buffalo ended up carrying bits of the play throughout the first and second period, and Flames found a way to hang in there and eventually maybe start to push back a little bit.
Yeah, you always wonder after a bit of a break, which the Calgary Flames just did have. They had 4 days to themselves, a couple days off, and then a couple of practice days, throw in a poker tournament for charity. Yeah. So they had a little bit of everything, and I know it's always in the back of a player's mind, back of a coach's mind. How is the team going to respond after something like that? And the first half of the game, I don't think was the Flames' best. They gave up a lot of slot opportunities. They gave up a lot of puck possession to the Buffalo Sabres, but they did stick with it. And then finally, Kadri gets a big goal in the second period to kind of turn the tides, and I felt that the Calgary Flames did take over from that part and really did a really nice job in the third period. But it was a little iffy in the start, and pucks were bouncing everywhere. It was kind of a disjointed game. So this one had a little bit of everything.
We'll talk a little bit about as the evening goes on, but the PK, which has been one of those hot topic items really since the power play got going. It kind of shifted to the PK and trying to get a few big stops. They got a couple of them here tonight, and it seemed like at times really was a turning point for them, either sparking momentum or a couple of big goals too.
Yeah, and they generated some opportunities on the penalty kill, which is always nice to see. You got a shorthanded goal tonight, lots of other opportunities up the ice. So it was definitely a spark at times, but I really liked how solid it was in the third period when it needed to be, and that was one of the biggest things. So you got a 2-on-1 early in the game. Rasmus Andersson comes down here. That is shorthanded. You got Huberdeau on the breakaway. That is also shorthanded. I know we're not showing power play highlights here.
No, these are PK.
And the chances just kept coming. I'm going to ask Bax what he's doing on that pass there. Not his best, but well played by the Sabres defenseman.
Yeah.
But that was all generated off of the penalty kill. Yeah. They didn't give Buffalo a very good, or they didn't allow them a lot of time to set up in their own end. They kept them kind of on their heels, and good overall performance by that portion of the Flames tonight.
Well, they had 2 empty net goals, but also gave up 2 late penalty kills again, or 2 late power plays, and then one of those empty netters that Bax gets at the end of the game also comes shorthanded too. So anytime you can get some offense from the PK, that's a pretty big thing for any group, and for this one in particular, who've struggled in that area at times this season.
Yeah, special teams are a big part of it, and you do so much practicing it. It's nice when you get the results because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is Canadian Armed Forces Night here as well, so there'll be a big group photo coming out just a few moments, but get an opportunity to welcome in the winning goaltender here tonight, Dustin Wolf, to the desk. And Dustin, congrats on the win, and maybe just first get your thoughts on kind of the evening and the way that it flowed from your perspective, and obviously the significance of there haven't been a lot of home games, but you've taken advantage of the few that you have here in this stretch.
No, we've been on the road a lot lately, and obviously we wanted to come in and find a way to get 2 points. The first 40 probably wasn't the prettiest, but we came to the room after 2 and just said we need to put together 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And scoring 3 in the third is pretty nice from my perspective, and we'll certainly take it.
For sure.
Just to build on that, there was a lot of block shots by your teammates, some out of desperation, some because they're in great position. But when the first half of the game, when pucks are bouncing all over the place, what does that do for you and your focus, or from your perspective? Does it throw you off a little bit? Is it harder to get into the game when you're not getting as many touches and pucks are bouncing everywhere, or is it just kind of just hold your ground and wait until they start coming to you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm waiting for pucks to come hit me. I'll never complain if a guy wants to put his body in front of one for me. And I thought that was one of our best games in terms of commitment for for blocking shots, and it went to show our kill was excellent, especially in the third period. And there's going to be stretches where they get pucks through, but I know our guys are there ready to block shots, and I thought that was one of our best so far this year.
Pellets, I think about that one at the end of the second period. I think Pellets had that, obviously a great game. He gets the goal, the assist, but then I think the block shot sticks out a little bit too, because he wore that one kind of right at the end of the period.
Yeah, no, there was a big cheer when he came into the room after the second, and that's the stuff we need to win hockey games, and that's the kind of player he is. So he'll block shots, and sometimes he finds ways to score goals, which is even better. And nonetheless, he's one of the best team guys around, and that's what you need in environments like this, where we just need a good 20 minutes. And he's in there along with Lombo, and all the other leaders are pushing us to make sure the third was our best.
Yeah, for sure.
At your position, Dustin, you're often used to maybe splitting time with Dan Bladar, and you get used to having game breaks and things like that. But when you're rolling and you've got the responsibility that's been placed on you as of late, how do you handle a 4-game break? Is it just prepare the same way you would, or is there anything you do differently when you have a little bit of additional time off leading up to a game?
No, I don't think anything changes. I've been very fortunate throughout my career to play a lot of hockey on whatever team I've been on, and I'm very fortunate that they're giving me an opportunity to help our team win hockey games. And I took one day and went out to the Nordic Spa in Kananaskis. That was very relaxing.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, it was
Treat
very
the body.
Relaxing. I think everybody could use a day like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When you get 2 days off in a row, you better take advantage of it while you can.
There's no extra treadmill for conditioning, none of that stuff. Right off the extra desserts. No, I think
I'm adding a couple desserts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm adding a couple desserts, maybe.
As you should. Yeah.
Yes, celebrate.
Yeah. Last one for you. I think poker tournament. We heard that maybe you hung in there pretty late. The Jersey stayed on tight until the end. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it was the last one to come off.
Good.
Me and Baller were the last ones standing, and it got to a point where the blinds were getting very expensive, and my chip count was, taking a hit every time I was big blind. So it was either I had to go all in or try to soak it. But that was an outstanding event. I'm glad they raised so much money, and I'm certainly looking forward to next year. I want to try to one-up myself a little more.
Yeah, that's right. Be the last one. They hung in there longer than Sarich, I think.
That's not hard to do. That's an easy accomplishment. Don't pat yourself on the back for that one.
I'm getting better.
That's good, bud. Congrats on hanging in there at the poker table and hanging in there tonight. Big win, and obviously keeps the ball rolling. Good job.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us. There's Dustin Wolf here following the victory for the Calgary Flames, 5-2 the final over the Sabres. 30-plus saves again here tonight. 32, I think, was the final total for Dustin Wolf, and full marks for him. We're going to hear from the head coach. I know the team's heading out there for the group photo on Canadian Armed Forces night, but let's take you through the game from a highlight perspective. We'll see some of those saves from Dustin Wolf, but here's how it looked in front of him tonight, and it started as we showed you on that PK, and a pretty well played puck there into the neutral zone, and Jonathan Huberdeau says, thank you very much. Nice shot, too, to deliver that surprise to the feet of Luukkonen.
Yeah, and you know what I love from Jonathan Huberdeau on this and his finish is that was a very predetermined shot. He knew what he was doing. He saw space and loved the commitment on that goal.
Yeah, beautiful finish. Obviously, Luukkonen still left standing. I think probably caught him by surprise a little bit. 1-0 was the early lead on his 19th of the season, but the Sabres did have an answer, and it comes by way of deflection. One, maybe an OG, the own goal, and the other one, a nice deflection in front. Both of them, maybe the only way that Sabres could beat Dustin tonight.
Yeah, and we weren't sure who got a piece of this one. We were looking, and thought it was a Sabre player in front, but no, it just happens to be Rasmus Andersson, and that unfortunately happens. He wasn't trying to bat it down. It just was an unfortunate bounce.
Just puck hits the stick, and then this is the second Sabres goal, and pretty similar in terms of where the puck and where the shot's coming from, but watch Tage Thompson call for this right there.
Yeah, it's a tricky play. I know Rasmus Andersson's, he's in good position there with Thompson in front, and he moves, him and Ball make the switch, and doesn't give Kevin a lot of chance to take position, and big boy like Tage Thompson in front with his sweet hands, was a pretty nice tip by him.
Yeah, a little bit of a handful in front to be sure, and 22nd of the season for Tage Thompson. That makes it 2-1, but as you described, the pushback from the Flames comes right here, and it starts with a nice block in the D zone. Pelletier now with Huberdeau and Kadri get it up ice, and then maybe a fortuitous bounce, but pretty nice play to get it into the ozone.
Yeah, and you know, the backhands, they still hold true. You know, it's just a little bit of an off-speed pitch for goaltenders to try to handle, and this one fools him. It gets him in the interior of his glove, bounces down between the legs. I thought he was maybe going to drive and make a power move there, but he opted for the backhand, and that was a crucial goal. I think that one kind of settled down the Calgary Flames, knotted this thing at 2, and allowed him a chance to get going.
Yeah, that was perfectly placed, and that obviously ties the game going into the third period. You heard Dustin Wolf just say they talked about wanting to put together a solid 20 minutes to finish this thing off, and that's exactly what they did, and this was what got it started in the
Jakob Pelletier takes a shot off his rear, goes in here. He's in a good spot, trying to screen the goalie through all these players. And oh, it was a stick. I thought it went off his body.
It's perfectly placed right off the stick.
And anyways, he deserved it. He had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he did.
He was the one guy that was not on this line with Kadri and Huberdeau early in the game. It was very noticeable from his defensive plays and all the things that he did. He gets rewarded by getting moved up, and he gets some points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of empty netters to finish things off. This one was a great moment afterwards with Sharangovich. Maybe that one was going to go in on its own, but he made sure.
Yeah, I'd rather that than watch it go wide.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
They're having a laugh about it. All's good. Everybody gets a point.
Yeah, that's the thing is everybody gets the point and everybody gets the victory, and then Backlund finishes it off. Second shorthanded goal of the night. Coleman does some work, actually drew the penalty, and then Backlund finishes it off. So a couple of shorthanded goals, a couple of big goals, obviously, at the timing, and then the Flames get the 5-2 win. Here's a look at live what's happening there at center ice. All our men and women in the Canadian Armed Forces that are here tonight participating, they're all welcome to come down to the ice in a big group photo. And Sarich, you've been a part of a couple of these photos, and always a special night here at the Dome.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool feeling. I get to participate in quite a few of these, and we play a game for a living, and these guys put their lives on the line for a living. They serve our country. It's neat to see the two come together, and it really provides some perspective for us as athletes. You know, you're having a rough go or you're having a rough stay, and you look around at these people and the things they do for this country, and it all puts it all in perspective. So really nice to have a chat with some of these guys too. They've got some pretty interesting backgrounds if you do get a chance.
Well, and just, you know, to find out where in the world they've served, and obviously travel and see parts of the world, and you know, obviously just the sacrifice that they make for the country. And love to see the smiles and the time that the players take, not only for the photo, but then you see signing some autographs, taking pictures as well, and it all adds up to a special night, an annual special night here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. While the players take some time at center ice, let's hear from the head coach of the Calgary Flames. Ryan Huska is now at the podium, and let's get his thoughts following the 5-2 Calgary Flames win over the Buffalo Sabres.
Sir, did the game kind of turn a little bit when you maybe put Pelletier up on that line?
That was the start of it. He was one of the guys the first two periods that I felt had some energy, and when he was on the ice, he was making things happen. So I think it probably did, yeah. And then in the third period, we went to 3 lines, which you don't like to do, but I just felt in the situation we didn't have enough pace in our game tonight. So the 3 lines, I thought we got more pace as we got going.
What did you see from Pelletier tonight? What did we just watch?
He was skating. I mean, he was harder on the puck tonight. He finished some checks, which we don't ask him to do like he did in front of our bench. But we want him to be a guy that's competitive on the puck and at the puck, and then use the speed to his advantage. And I thought he did that for his line mates. I thought he did it for himself. So that's the best game I've seen him play in the NHL. And hopefully it's a sign of some great things to come for him.
What prompted the move?
Our team. Didn't really feel like there was much going on in the first bit of the game.
Probably too many opportunities, but nice to see your penalty kill have a strong night like that.
I thought it was the difference for us, really. And even some of the penalties that we took, you don't often take penalties like the last 2 that we took tonight. And I thought they did a really good job. I thought they were composed. I thought we had some chances on the penalty kill as well. And again, hopefully it's something that unit can continue to build on.
There's guys who kind of make a career of versatility. Like you can put them, they never seem to have set line mates.
Yeah.
They kind of bounce around.
Yeah.
Does he have the versatility to be a guy like that?
Yeah, I would say he does. On our team, I for sure he does. I mean, there's situations like tonight where we started him on the 4th line, but he knows going in that he's going to get moved around a little bit now, like he did in Winnipeg. And then the way the game was going early on, as I said, I felt he was one of our few players. I thought Hubie had some energy tonight early on too, but one of the few players that had energy. So we tried to just something a little different with our lines, and a lot of it was because of the way he was playing.
How do you that understanding that he's going to bounce a little bit? Is there a certain type of guy who can sort of thrive in that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you have to be a guy you're okay with a lot of different things. Like sometimes guys would look at a lineup and in the dressing room, if they see their name in a spot where they don't want it to be for a practice or a game, some guys can pout and not be happy about it and have some terrible body language, but he's not that way at all. So I think he understands now that he's brought value to our team in a penalty killing role, and because he's brought some of that, he's getting more opportunity 5-on-5. So I think he's good with it, and I think he understands it.
How do you feel his game complements Kadri and Huberdeau?
For me, it's the speed. He's got the ability to make some plays, but he's a little bit like Posp. And I'm not saying the physical side of it's the same, but they both have speed and pace. And that's something that I think Cads and Hubie need on their other side. Someone to put pucks into areas, to work to be first on it, to create a little bit of pressure on defense.
What did you make your goaltender tonight?
I thought he was very good. Yeah.
Ryan, speaking of your penalty kill, Jonathan Huberdeau obviously gets the shorthanded goal,
Yeah.
had an assist on Kadri's goal. Can you just kind of talk about how impressive his two-way game or just his play in all situations has been this season?
He's been one of our most consistent players, I would say. And there was, stretches where he still wanted to score a little bit more, wasn't generating, but he stuck with it. And I think and what he's done, we've talked about it before, he's made himself a really good 200-foot player where there is zero issue having him on the ice in certain situations. And I like him on the penalty kill because he thinks like a power play guy. So he does a good job of recognizing where seams are and where guys want to make plays, and that's just natural because that's the type of player he is. So the short answer would be I think he's done an excellent job with the full 200-foot game for us consistently this year.
When he shoulder checked and saw Pelletier behind him on that breakaway, did you wonder?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't.
How does a team get better at face-offs in season? Is it repetition? Is it matchups? Is it a little bit of everything?
It's hard. Like some of it is repetition. A lot of nights we're put at a disadvantage off of icings and off special team situations because they always stick us on the other side. We have 3 left-handed centermen, and really none of them have found a way to get to that 50% level yet, which I think you need to be at. So part of it's a challenge from us to them to make sure they're better. There's certain times where, and there was a lot tonight where the pucks went straight to the wall and our defensemen did not win it for our centermen. So then you see their numbers and percentage go down when they actually tied that draw. And if we would have been better supporting, it turns into a win. But to their defense a little bit, and I don't want to give them the crutch, they get put in a lot of tough situations just simply because we're all left-handed.
Ryan, I know Anderson thumped that one off the post tonight. Where have you been at just overall at the offense? I mean, as much as earlier this season.
I think over the last little while there's been a little inconsistency for me. I think he's done a good job with his defending game. Like there's certain nights where he's very noticeable. I feel like he can, when he's got pace to his game, when he's moving his feet, he's not only a great defender, but he's also a real dynamic player offensively. So I always look for that when I evaluate him. Is he moving his feet? And just typically things, they seem to follow in a positive way for him when his feet are moving. Okay, thank you guys.
Extended edition of the post-game press conference from head coach Ryan Huska. Anything jump out there in terms of what you heard from the coach?
Well, I like what he said about his goalie.
Yeah, copy and paste.
Yeah, this guy's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So, I get a reference this morning. We were talking with Ryan Huska, and he said, "What do you want to see from your team?" And he was pretty blunt. He said, "I'd like to see them play with a lead." Which they did. They went out and got the first goal tonight. And then all of a sudden they give up a quick 2. They were not at their best. I was starting to get a little bit nervous because I also heard the stat that was coming across the airwaves that the Sabres have only come back once this year after trailing and giving up the first goal. So I was starting to get a little bit leery out there. But, he made the necessary adjustments tonight. I like the way that he's handled Pelletier. We've been talking about that, You don't have to just give it to young guys. You can explain to them why and how and teach them different facets of the game and make them earn what they get. And I think Jacob's done a great job of responding to that. So those are just a couple of things that stuck out. And again, Flames stuck through a rough first half and come out and got their legs underneath them and did a nice job to close this out.
Well, let's follow up on the Pelletier stuff, because as we look at what his night looked like this evening, I mean, he makes an impact. He sat here this morning and talked a little bit about how much that versatility and the ability to move him up and down the lineup, depending on what the game, that means a lot to a player, just knowing that you can kind of facilitate that throughout the course of a game.
And anything you can do to help your team win, that gives you confidence. I've always felt too that the coaches that give their players defined roles, that really do a great job of that, and then really reward guys for doing the things they ask of them, it can do wonders. And I see that in Jakob Pelletier. You can see that kind of fire in his belly. You can see the look in his eyes there. He wants to do anything that he can to help this team win, to get the ice time. And you know what? The points are just an added bonus at this point, and only can help his confidence grow.
Well, no question. And then you hear Dustin Wolf say that he comes in after the second period and had a nice little round of applause from the locker room, because they see that too. And I think, as a younger player, that's what you want to do, is to be able to show some of those vets and make plays and make an impact on a game that allows you to build that trust inside the locker room. That all goes a long way, I bet.
Yeah, and seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Go out there and do
Sure.
great things. You don't have to say much in the room. Go and lead by example, and he did a great job of that tonight.
It's not on the final stat sheet, but I believe unofficially he also led the team tonight in helmet kisses delivered. So I think must be another column somewhere. Yeah, planted
Who's
going to
start tracking that stat?
One of the best in the league at it, and pure energy, and we love it too, because this was after the shorthanded goal, not even in the frame. Ubi's just taking a look at what's going on up there, and then Pelts comes in and plants one right on the lid. And this, honestly, that's part of what he brings to the team, and you hear it from him, you hear it from the teammates, that energy. It's hard not to smile when you got Pelts in your ear pumping you up, and he has a lot of that going on, doesn't he?
This must be something they teach you in minor hockey out there in Eastern Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Pure energy, though. I love it.
I don't remember receiving a lot of helmet kisses growing up, but yeah.
More of the helmet taps usually. You get the nods, a couple of visor plans.
Front bumps.
Yeah, front bumps, yeah.
Yeah, it's his move. You got to be unique.
It's patented.
Those things stick.
I like it. And, we're going to maybe hear from a couple more guys. I think they're still finishing up some photos on the ice and some autographs. Before we go back inside the room, let's talk a little bit more about Dustin Wolf, because you heard the head coach say it. And obviously it's part of obviously we talked to him directly, but just, the poise that we're seeing. I think he started now 10 of the last 12 games. Just the guy that, is starting to really emerge as number one type guy in this league right now.
Yeah, starting to remind me of a certain someone that used to play here, and I'll leave you guys to guess. But he's so agile in the net, and his positioning is so good. He's aggressive. He challenges, and he's starting to make some difficult saves look easy.
Yeah.
And when that starts to happen, that's a guy that's got a lot of confidence and feeling it. And tonight, like I said, pucks were bouncing all over in front of him. A couple wicked ricochets. He got one that came from a tight angle, went off his helmet, back out front. He made the save. One that he can't quite keep in his glove. But again, he's so competitive. And then you add that along with confidence. It's a recipe for success.
Yeah, it's a lethal combination for sure. And it's been fun to watch, because we've seen.
Here's the one I'm talking about right here. Yeah. Side angle off the melon.
Yeah.
This last one here.
Yeah. On Paterka.
I'm interrupting, but again, those are saves that are not easily made.
Yeah.
And he's making them look pretty routine.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of what's been interesting though, I was going to mention, just we've seen this kind of progression throughout the year, and we've seen some great performances, but coming off that Winnipeg game, first place team, you start to hear some of that national attention coming too. And I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that's watched them all year, but it is kind of interesting to see a little bit more of the national attention, the national spotlight starting to pick up on what he's been able to do here over this last stretch.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember earlier in the year, I remember it being talked about. I can't remember who said it directly, but it was on a national broadcast, and they talked about, the rookie of the year this year, and you're going to get mentioned with all the top candidates, but for Wolf, it was always like, oh, here, let's just wait and see. Let's not jump to conclusions. But with a performance like this and the numbers he's putting up as of late, like you've got Adam to almost every conversation. So it's nice if he starts to get talked about rather than just here locally.
Yeah. All right, let's get a little bit more reaction here following the game. We've talked a lot about him. Let's hear from him, and that would be Jakob Pelletier here following his first star performance.
First star, pretty good night for you overall. Felt good out there.
Felt unreal. It's nice. It's nice to play at home. I feel like we didn't play here in like 2 months, but it's nice. I think the fans were unreal, so it's good.
How different was it playing with Hero and Calgary after a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean they're pretty much the same player, to be honest. But no, it's good. It's good. I think we had some chemistry from 2 years ago. So for me, I still play the same way. So it's nice to get some goals tonight.
What goes through your mind when you get the tap and you're going up to the top line in the middle of a game?
I just got to play the same way. Just try to play some more offense. Try to produce more because you're with the big dogs. So I mean, it's nice. It's nice.
Does your confidence build when you see more responsibility, like on the PK from Huska and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you play more, you kind of feel more engaged. And since I got called back up, I can see that I'm playing more and I'm playing better. So it's great for sure.
Coach Jacob, that's three different lines for you in the last 3 games. How do you sort of?
Oh yeah. There he is. There he is, Mike. Yeah, usual.
How do you sort of navigate when you're getting bounced around the lineup?
I see. I'm just playing the same way. I'm playing the same way as I'm playing on the 4th line, 3rd line, 2nd line, 1st line, whatever. So I think it worked for me since I'm young, and I don't plan to change that.
You just said you felt unreal out there. Your coach said it was the best game he thought you'd ever played in the NHL. You agree?
Yeah, I think so. I had some hits tonight. I scored some goals. I passed the puck too. So no, it felt good. I think it was huge for us to win the game tonight, especially here. Like I said, we haven't played here, I feel like, in forever. So the dome was unreal, and it's nice to get a big win for sure.
And your confidence has been something you've talked about a lot, and how it needed to be built up. What does a night like this do for you?
It does a lot. You know what though, like. It's not about points or about goals or whatever. I think you just got to build on that. For me, it's to make plays, to play good on the PK, and I think points are just going to come. So yeah.
Did you think you could finish putting Kozak in the bench there? Or?
I thought about it. I was like, come on. No. I mean, it's rare I get kind of like a chance to get a guy close to the bench like that. So yeah. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Cheers to another season of great times and great taste. Celebrate things done well. Original 16, official beer sponsor of the Calgary Flames. Must be legal drinking age.
All right, welcome back inside our Flames TV Live postgame show, brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. Canadian Armed Forces night fans, servicemen and women, able to meet some of the players, take some photos after the game, and just hearing from a couple of guys now. Obviously, Jakob Pelletier, first star performance here tonight. Couple of smiles there from him as well. And then he mentioned it feels like I haven't been on home ice forever. And just the second game in a 3-week span on home ice. They win both of them, so you take advantage of that. But I'm sure looking forward to getting some extended time here on home ice.
Yeah, but you're on the road, and it's so weird. Then come home for one, and on
straight
the road
back out again.
Play another one, and now you go out for a quick back-to-back, and then you'll get a couple games at home. But I guess the schedule's been a little bit all over the map with some large breaks this year for them. They had the extended break at Christmas. You get one here now in in January of 4 days. And then you're going to have another huge break to deal with in mid-Feb. So I guess might as well get practiced up.
Yeah,
they're doing a pretty good job of handling it, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the way that it goes in terms of, you're going to play 3 and 4 nights now. You get tomorrow's a travel day, and then you're back-to-back in Minnesota and Winnipeg. So got to take advantage of those little pockets of rest when you can get them in practice time, and then hammer it out the rest of the way.
Yeah, definitely. And, once you get through that break in February, it's going to be full throttle till the very end of the year. So, didn't seem to phase Dustin Wolf. He made the most of it.
No, absolutely. And he was obviously one of the big stars here tonight. So too was Jakob Pelletier and Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri. That line joined midway through this hockey game, but produced some big offense and a big win for the Calgary Flames over the Buffalo Sabres. As mentioned, just the second home game in the span of 3 weeks, but they take advantage with the 2 points, hold their playoff position, and now move on to the road once again. It starts on Saturday night, back-to-back games against Minnesota and eventually Winnipeg before returning home for a 3-game set that kicks off against the Washington Capitals. The return of Andrew Mangiapane on Tuesday night back at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Thanks for watching Flames Postgame Live, brought to you by Original 16. We'll see you next Tuesday at the Dome.